Welcome to Structure for Architecture. Today I am going to discuss in this video about different forces acting on the retaining wall and stability checks for a retaining wall. First I will discuss about the theory perspective and then I will take you one numerical and solve that retaining wall numerical problem. So let us have a look at the different forces acting on the retaining wall. You see the diagram. I hope you have already seen my other videos on the retaining wall. The links are given in the description box if you have already not seen it. So starting from the retaining wall, as you know, the retaining wall consists of two parts. Number one, stem. Number two, it is the base slab. So the base slab can be divided into two parts, toe slab and the heel slab. So that is the basic diagram I have drawn for a retaining wall consisting of stem and the base slab. Now let us see what are the forces acting on it. I have here shown it total 7 forces acting on the retaining wall. So let us start with serial number 1. You can see it, the numbering I have done it with the black color and the forces I have shown it with the different colors, red, violet and the black color. So let us start with the number 1 force which is acting on the retaining wall, that is called the active earth pressure. So active earth pressure tries to move the retaining wall away from the backfill soil. So from the direction only you can understand that it is acting from right to left as if it is trying to move the retaining wall away from the backfill soil. So this is the number 1 force which is acting on the retaining wall. Then serial number 2, that is the backfill soil pressure. So whenever there is a backfill in the retaining wall, so that backfill also exerts some pressure on the retaining wall. So that pressure also we have to take into account. Number 3, the upward soil pressure. Upward soil pressure diagram, you have seen it that it is a trapezoidal distribution. At one end it is maximum, at other end, that is at the hillside, it is the P minimum. So whatever the soil is there below the retaining wall, that soil will also exert pressure on the base of the retaining wall. So that is number 3, serial number 3. Then we come to serial number 4, that is the passive earth pressure. What is passive earth pressure? See, whenever there is one active earth pressure, what does active earth pressure do? Active earth pressure tries to move the retaining wall away from the backfill soil. So to counteract that or to balance that, the passive earth pressure is there which is counteracting the active earth pressure. So passive earth pressure moves the retaining wall towards the backfill. So that pressure also has to be considered, that is serial number 4. Then we come to the surcharge pressure. Surcharge pressure means above the retaining wall and the backfill, if there are some extra loads coming from the vehicle or the dead load coming from any other structure from there, so that pressure that is acting as an extra, that is surcharge. So that load, dead load, live load, all the combinations, that pressure we have to also consider. That is serial number 5. Serial number 6 is the self weight. Yes, it is very obvious. So retaining wall consisting of the stem and the base slab, all that part we have to divide into different parts and find out the total self weight of each part and then add it. So the self weight of the retaining wall also we have to find it out, which is acting vertically downward. And the 7th force is the friction force. That is the frictional force. It is a resistive force. Please remember, frictional force and the passive earth pressure, they are the resistive force. Friction force between the retaining wall and the soil below it. So there is a friction acting over there. So that force also we have to consider. Now let us have a look at the different types of checks for the stability analysis of a retaining wall. So these are the 3 important one. Number 1, overturning check. Number 2, sliding check. Number 3 is the bearing capacity check. So now let us start with the overturning moment. You can see over here that I have drawn the retaining wall. With the red color I have shown the overturning moment, and with the violet color I have shown you the stabilizing moment. So now let us understand that how does this overturning moment is generated. as I have explained you few minutes before, that the active earth pressure tries to move the retaining wall away from the backfill soil. So if we take moment at the point O, that is the toe slab base point, if we take moment, what happens that active earth pressure tries to overturn or topple the retaining wall. Okay, so in this case, as you can see, an anti-clockwise moment is developed as shown by the MO. MO stands for overturning moment. O stands for overturning, capital M stands for moment. So that creates a overturning moment due to the active earth pressure. Now to resist that overturning or the toppling effect, what will the retaining wall do? It is having its self weight. So by its self weight, by the virtue of its self weight, it will try to neutralize that or try to stabilize the retaining wall. So the self weight, I have shown it by the vertical violet color. So that force, that weight of the retaining wall will create a clockwise moment which is called the resisting moment. MR, R for resisting, M for the moment. So it will create a clockwise moment if we take a moment about the O point of the toe slab. Okay, so active earth pressure, as we already know, that is PA is equal to half KA gamma H square. Overturning moment, if we take the moment about the point O, so it will be PA into H by 3. As we already know that it is a triangular distribution, and where does this load act? At the height of H by 3 from its base, 1/3 from the base. So PA into H by 3, this will be the anti-clockwise moment. And what is the downward force? This is the self weight of the wall, and obviously the backfill soil weight also we have to consider all these things. And so finally we have to find the factor of safety. Factor of safety is defined as the resisting moment divided by the overturning moment. So this value should be greater than 1.2. Sometimes it is also referred, it is preferable that if the value is greater than 1.5, but okay, 1.2 greater than equal to 1.2 will also do. So this is about the overturning moment. Next is the sliding check. So while doing the sliding check, let us first see that what is the resisting force and what is the sliding force. Now what is the sliding force? Sliding force is the active earth pressure. As I have explained you earlier, that the active earth pressure will try to move or slide the retaining wall. So this is the sliding forces here. It is the active earth pressure, that is PA. And what are the passive earth pressure? What are the resisting forces? The resisting forces are the passive earth pressure as well as the frictional force. So passive earth pressure will try to retain the position of the retaining wall in its proper position, and also the friction force which is acting between the retaining wall and the soil, that will act also as a resistive force. Okay, so factor of safety is equal to passive earth pressure plus the friction force, that is the total is the resisting or the restoring force, divided by the sliding force. What is the sliding force? The active earth pressure, PA. Now this ratio should be greater than equal to 1.55. Now suppose the sliding force is more than the resisting force. So what will happen? Sliding force, if the sliding force is more than the resisting force, so the FOS will come as less than 0. Correct? Now it will be less than 1 if the sliding force, that is the denominator, is greater than the numerator. So it will come as a fraction, obviously. So it should be less than 1. So the factor of safety will not be valid. So then it will not be stable. Correct? Because for the stability purpose, FOS must be greater than 1.55, greater than equal to. So now if it is coming less than 1, so what is the solution? So in that case, we provide the shear key so that this phenomena doesn't happen. Okay. Next we come to the bearing capacity check. So what is the bearing capacity check? So here the upward soil pressure. How to calculate the upward soil pressure, that we will see, but the upward soil pressure must not be greater than, should not be more than the safe bearing capacity of the soil. So this is the bearing capacity check. Now for this, please refer to the diagram below. So for this diagram, P max is equal to summation of V by A plus M by Z. This value, the maximum pressure should be less than safe bearing capacity, and the minimum pressure, that is summation V by A minus M by Z, should be greater than equal to 0. That means that value should be a positive 1. Now to understand this concept, please refer to my video direct bending stress. There I have discussed in detail about how to do all these calculations and from where this P max P min value comes, and what the final derivation, that is the W by B 1 plus minus 6 E by B, how all these derivations come, what are these implications. So please see my video of direct bending stress. The link is given in the description box below. So please refer to that video for better understanding. So now let us proceed. So as you can see here, the moment, a capital M is the moment. Moment is what? Summation of V into E. What is E? E is the eccentricity. What do you mean by eccentricity? Eccentricity is the distance between the center line of the structure of the retaining wall till the point where the moment force is acting. The distance between these two points is known as the eccentricity. So moment, how we can find it out? Summation V into E. What is A? Capital A is the area. Here B into 1. B is the, as you can see, the width, and 1 is the per meter, 1 meter length or per 1 meter run we are taking. What is Z? Z is the section modulus. Okay, so now let us proceed. So for the stability point of view, from the bearing capacity point of view, it tells that the resultant should lie within the middle third of the base. So this is called the middle third rule. What is that rule? Suppose the total base width is B as shown in the diagram. We are dividing it into 3 equal parts, B by 3, B by 3, B by 3. Now for the bearing capacity check or point of view, the stability of the structure, the resultant should lie between the middle 1/3, middle B by 3 part. The resultant should lie. Then the structure will be stable. If it doesn't lie, suppose it lies in the first 1/3 or the last 1/3 part, then the structure is not stable. Okay, so this is called the middle third rule. Now if we put all the value in the equation, that is the summation V. Now what is the summation V? Summation V is the sum of all the vertical forces. Now what will be that? That is equal to W. What is W? W is the self weight of the retaining wall. Okay, A already I have explained, and capital M is the moment. So moment is equal to summation V into E. Summation V equal to W. So M is equal to W into E. And what is Z? Z is equal to 1 by 6 B D square. So 1 by 6 into B into D square, that means the 1 square, as we are taking per 1 meter length of the retaining wall. So if we put all these value in the equation, we will get the pressure value, maximum pressure as well as the minimum pressure. For maximum it is plus, for minimum it is minus. So V by A plus M by Z, that turns out to be W by B within bracket 1 plus minus 6 E by B. Here plus is for the maximum value, minus is for the minimum value. And for the better understanding, please refer to the video direct bending stress, for which the link is given in the description box. Okay, let us have a look at the problem. So one retaining wall has been shown in the diagram. So its top width is 1.5 meter, bottom width is 3.5 meter. The total height of the retaining wall is 6 meter. The soil, it has been up to 3 meter from the top. It is having a soil of unit weight of 16 kilonewton per meter cube, and the lower 3 meter part is having a soil of 18 kilonewton per meter cube. So weight of the masonry is given in the problem as 23 kilonewton per meter cube. Angle of repose is given as 30 degree. Coefficient of friction is given as 0.6. Safe bearing capacity of the soil is 75 kilonewton per meter square. And so we have to find in this problem different forces acting on the retaining wall, and after that we have to also do the stability check that whether this retaining wall is stable or not. So this is the numerical. So as you can see the diagram, so in the diagram I have shown all the parameters. So now let us go for the solution. Before starting of the solution, first let us understand it that how we are going to solve the problem. See, as you can see it that I have shown the pressure distribution diagram for the active earth pressure. So active earth pressure is a triangle. Here you can see that the entire triangle I have divided into 3 parts. Why 3 parts? First of all, you have to understand here the unit weight of the soil are different layer wise. Top 3 meter 1 unit weight, the bottom 3 meter is another unit weight of the soil. So the active earth pressure at the top 3 meter that we have to find it out separately, P1, and the bottom 3 meter height, there it is a trapezoidal distribution, so that we have to divide it into 2 parts, one rectangle plus one triangle. So see the naming how I have given the top triangle, I have named it as BFE, so that pressure is P1, and the bottom trapezoid, that is EFCH, this trapezium is of 2 parts, one rectangle EFCG plus one triangle EGH. So for the rectangular part the pressure is P2, and for the triangular part EGH it is P3. Okay, here before starting, one more thing you have to understand. See the diagram carefully, that is the pressure intensity at EF level of the triangle BFE. The pressure intensity at EF will be same as the CG because they are a rectangle. EFCG is a rectangle, so the pressure intensity at the level of EF will be equal to CG. Okay, so this is also another important observation which you have to keep it in mind. By the way, if this problem is given for a unit weight of soil which is having a uniform value, suppose it is given either 16 or 18, then we don't have to go for all these things. So there we can directly get the equation. Okay, that is half into gamma into h square, total height square, half into Ka into gamma into total height square. But as the unit weight are different, so we have to break the diagram, break the active pressure distribution diagram, and then we have to go step by step. So this thing you keep in mind. Now let us start the solution. First of all, what we have to find? The active earth pressure coefficient, that is Ka. What is Ka? That is equal to 1 minus sine phi by 1 plus sine phi. And you consider 1 meter run of the wall. So phi value is given as 30, so that gives us Ka value is 1 by 3. Now let us start. Pressure intensity, as I have explained you, EF will be Ka into gamma into H. Ka value we know, gamma value which we will take 16. And what is H? H is 3 meter. Because for a 3 meter height, the 16 kilonewton per meter cube is the unit weight. Okay, so that gives pressure intensity as 16 kilonewton per meter square. Now the total pressure P1 will be how much? That will be half into pressure intensity into height. So half into 16 into 3. So that gives us 24 kilonewton. And where does it act? What is the location? As we know, from the point C, we are calculating the distance from the point C, that is the point of the hill slab we are calculating. So it will be 3 meter plus 1 by 3, that is 4 meter above the point C. Now as I have explained you the triangular part, to find it out the P1, similarly for EGH triangle also you can find the value of P3, which comes out to be 27 kilonewton. And where does it act? It acts 1/3 of 3, that is 1 meter above C. Now total pressure per meter run, P2 how we will find? As I have explained you earlier, the pressure intensity at EF will be equal to CG. So EF, how much we have found out? Pressure intensity we are talking about, that we have found out 16. So CG will also be 16. Okay, so the total pressure P2 will be what? 16 into 3, because this is a rectangle. So it will be the pressure intensity by height into height. So it will be 48 kilonewton. And where does it act? It acts at its centroid, the centroid of the rectangle. How much it is? 3 by 2. That is 1.5 meter from the point C. Okay, so now what will be the total lateral pressure? Total lateral pressure will be P1 plus P2 plus P3. So how much we have got it? 24, 48 and 27. So this gives 99 kilonewton. Now location of this lateral pressure, let us assume that it is Y from the point C. Okay. So you see the diagram which I have drawn it at the bottom of this slide. So if you refer to the diagram, all the forces I have drawn it in the black color and the location with the red color. Okay, the corresponding location. And for all these forces, different lateral pressures acting, for all these forces we are going to find what will be the resultant pressure and its location. So then we will get one force, one resultant force, which will substitute all this lateral force, and that there will be one location. So how to find it out? Just by Varignon's theorem we can find it out. So 99 multiplied by y, that is the moment of this force by this lateral resultant force, is equal to 24 into 4, 48 into 1.5, 27 into 1. All we are taking moment about the point C, and that gives us y is equal to 1.97 meter from C. So which I have shown it with the violet color. So now what is the weight of the retaining wall per meter run? So weight, how we can find it out? See here again I have drawn the retaining wall structure, which is a trapezoid. 1.5 meter top width, 3.5 meter is the bottom width, and 6 meter is the height. So how we will find the weight of this retaining wall? So first you find out the area of the trapezium. So what it will be? 1.5 plus 3.5 divided by 2 multiplied by its height, that is 6. So this is the area. Now area, if you multiply it by the unit weight, which is given as the 23 kilonewton per meter cube, initially the weight of the masonry is given as 23. So this gives us the weight of the retaining wall, but remember this is per meter run, per unit meter run. So that is 345 kilonewton we are getting. Now we have to find where does this weight also act from the point C. So how we have to find out? Here we have to apply the concept of the centroid. If you have not seen the video of the centroid and bending moment, centroid and moment of inertia, please see the video on it. So there you will find that how to find out the centroid. So centroid we can find it out, as you can see, that if the x bar is the location of the centroid weight from the point C. So how we will find it out? First you take the rectangle. What is the rectangle? 1.5 meter width and 6 meter height. So what is the area? Area will be 1.5 into 6, that is 9. Okay. Now A1 x1 plus A2 x2 divided by A1 plus A2. By this way we find out the centroid, correct? So A1 is how much? 1.5 into 6, that is 9, into 1.5 by 2. We are taking the centroid from the point C. So 1.5 by 2 plus, what is the area of the triangle? Half into base into height. So half into what is the base? Base of the triangle. So 3.5 meter minus 1.5 meter, that is 2 meter. Base. Height is how much? 6 meter. So this gives us 6 multiplied by what will be the x2? That will be 1.5 meter plus 1/3 of 2. Divided by A1 plus A2. So this gives us the x bar as 1.32 meter. So the weight acts at a distance of 1.32 meter from C. Now let us see that what is the resultant of all the forces acting. First of all, what are the forces acting? Here active pressure, different active pressure, earth pressure is acting, P1, P2, P3. The self weight of the retaining wall is acting. So what is the resultant of all these forces acting? And finally we have to find that the location of the resultant of all these forces. So these location, the resultant which will be balancing all this is the self weight of the retaining wall. So let it acts at a distance of z from the point C. So if we take moment at the point C, it will be 345 into Z is equal to 24 into 4, 48 into 1.5 plus 27 into 1 plus 345 into 1.32. So that gives us 1.89 from the C. Now what will be the eccentricity? Eccentricity, you remember, eccentricity is defined as from the center line of the structure, how much distance the load is acting. So E, eccentricity, is total the location of the resultant from the point C minus the bottom width divided by 2. So that gives us 0.14 meter. Now what will be the maximum pressure on the base? Maximum pressure, as I have explained you earlier, that it is W by B within bracket 1 plus 6E by B. So that gives us 12.2 kilonewton per meter square. As I have told you earlier, that this value, maximum value, should be less than safe bearing capacity. What is the safe bearing capacity given here? It is given as 75 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so it is safe maximum value. And minimum pressure is P minimum, that is W by B 1 minus 6E by B. So this gives us 7.49 kilonewton per meter square. What is the criteria? It should be greater than 0. So it should be some positive value. Why? Because if negative value comes, that indicates that the tension is developed, and tension is not allowed in this case. Okay, so this gives us the minimum pressure. Now what is the check against overturning? As I have told you earlier, check against overturning FOS is equal to MR by MO. What is MR? MR is the resisting moment. What is the resisting moment? The weight of the retaining wall acts, the weight of the retaining wall tries to retain the wall in the position. So that is the resisting moment. So 345 into 1.32, again we are taking moment about the point C. And what is the MR? MR already we have found out that value, that is 24 into 4 plus 48 into 1.5 plus 27 into 1, that gives us 195. So ratio of these two comes out to be 1.34. So it is more than 1.2. So hence it is the retaining wall is safe against overturning. The next one is the check for the sliding. As I have told you that the active earth pressure always tries to move the retaining wall away from the backfill. So this creates a sliding effect. So active earth pressure already we have found out 99 kilonewton per meter run. It causes the sliding. Now what is the maximum frictional force? Frictional force will act as a resisting force over here. So that value is equal to mu into W. Mu is what? Coefficient of friction, that is 0.6, and what is W? W is 345. So 207 kilonewton. So this is the resisting the wall from sliding. So what is the factor of safety against sliding? It comes out to be frictional force divided by the active earth pressure. So this gives us 2.09, and it is greater than 1.55. So the retaining wall is safe against sliding also.